Yes.
All right, y'all ready to get started? All right, everybody caffeinated?
Yes.
Ooh, okay, doesn't sound like it.
Oh, yes.
Okay, I spit a ton, so I'm glad no one's in the front row. Why does no one ever sit in the front row? Are you scared? Don't be scared. All right, welcome to 1 Million Cups. If you meant to come to 1 Million Cups, you're in the right place. If not, you can stay anyways. My name is Courtney. I'm going to be your MC for today. I'll try to keep things flowing, keep us on time, and make sure that we all have a good time. I wanted to do a little trivia today. So because we're all in the startups or close to that, hopefully, wanted to know what is the #1 reason that startups fail? Okay, they did some research. They probably asked like 4 of their best friends. This is real research, right? Is it a lack of funding, wrong timing, founder issues, or angry startup gods? Real research, real research. All right. Okay, so who thinks it's A? Okay, who thinks it's B? Okay, who thinks it's C?
Can we vote twice?
Absolutely. Indeed. These are all very good reasons that startups fail, but the #1 reason they fail is actually wrong timing, which is shocking because every founder you talk to wants to bitch about, oh, no one wanted my idea, I didn't get enough, blah, blah, blah. Not true. You know, oh, my family, oh, this, oh, that. It is legitimately wrong timing because you can have something brilliant, but if you have a lawnmower in the caveman days, no one's going to buy it. So that is one of the reasons that we do 1 Million Cups is to make sure that everything is lined up because it can be right product, wrong time all day long and they won't get the funding and they won't see the success. And ultimately, once a startup fails, it doesn't usually come back. Now, if it fails at like a pitch competition, they'll get better. But if it fails, like, you know, had the second mortgage on your house, lost it, fails, not a good time. So we want to make sure that we give people that are presenting here today feedback on all different aspects. Especially if somebody has said like, oh, your font's too small. Let's let that go and let's move on to the next thing. Because there are so many things that a startup needs to survive. They are funding, it's the right founder, it's mindset, and it is timing. So just with your knowledge of the market, we have the combined knowledge of an entire community here, and using that is really helpful. So the problem, why 1 Million Cups happened? Entrepreneurs needed feedback on their startups, a place to practice presenting, and a place to meet other entrepreneurs. The Kauffman Foundation saw this problem and came up with a solution. They called it 1 Million Cups. They thought, hey, on a 9 a.m. on a Wednesday morning, I bet 1 million entrepreneurs are having a cup of coffee. What if we had them do it together and then added a structure and some funding so we can have cool t-shirts and make it a real thing? And that's what they did. So here we are, we meet every single week right here. There's always free coffee because that is the cornerstone of all successful communities. And then we do 6-minute presentations with 15 to 20 minutes of constructive audience feedback, so as we were talking about before. So presenters, people we're looking for, they have an idea, a product, or a startup. They are looking for and will receive feedback. They are ideally in their teenage stage, okay? If they've already won on Shark Tank, probably not worth their time. If they still live in mom's basement and think that something that props up a banana is a cool idea, also maybe not yet. So if you want to practice presenting, this is also a great place to do it because you have a captive audience that listens to you no matter how bad your jokes are. We have a website. Website is where you can follow us, get updates if we ever cancel because of weather. It's going to be posted up on here, but also joining our newsletter and our Slack channel, which will be coming up. So on the Colorado Startup Slack, Colorado Startups is a community that was started for startups in Colorado. It grew massively on Facebook, and so they've now moved it into a more interactive community inside Slack. We have a special channel just for us. There are QR codes around the room that you can scan to join that. If you have trouble, let one of me or my amazing team members know. This is Nick's little arrow things. We're moving on. These are our organizers. Myself, Jonathan, Philip, Nick, Andrew, Lindsay, Kim, and Kai. If you're an organizer here today, I'll point you out. We got Lindsay and Kim and Philip and Kai, and I don't think any of our others are here. So if you have questions or concerns or you're interested in any of this, hit up any one of us. We'd be happy to help. We also have sponsors. Our sponsors help us with providing coffee every week. They help us with getting the word out, getting more people to present, so this stays a fun event. And today we are honored because Rocky Mountain Microfinance Institute, I said that without stuttering, is here today. So I'm going to give Lorraine about 30 seconds here to tell you a little bit more about what they do.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I'm Lorraine Martinez. I'm the outreach manager at RMMFI, and I'm here with Jose Luis and Chiare. They're both outreach specialists. We're also all entrepreneurs and went through the program. RMMFI exists to help people start up businesses who experience a lot of adversity or barriers in getting their startup. So those icebreakers were awesome because usually whatever's happening in your personal life can bleed into your business, and that could be also a wrong timing thing. So we help people with a mix of education and micro lending. And we're just real excited to be here. And one little note, we're getting ready to start our next cohort, and we are in dire need of mentors for our entrepreneurs. So if you're interested in mentoring an entrepreneur, just talk to one of us.
Sounds good. All right, thanks so much. You seem much more caffeinated than I am.
Yes, I am.
Way to get up early. All right, we are wondering today, who is new to 1 Million Cups? Show of hands. 1, 2. Okay, I'm going to have our new folks give a quick intro in a second. So get ready, make sure you rehearse your name and stuff like that. Who considers themselves an entrepreneur? All right, everybody. So for introductions, anybody that's new, feel free to stand up, get the blood pumping, give us your name, what you do, and why are you here? We'll start with you.
Okay. Charles Holloway. I'm the VP of Growth for a menstrual hygiene company called Finley, and I'm here to meet new people in Colorado.
Love it.
For
Good to meet you.
people that, get that networking scene.
Oh, networking. Yeah.
My name is Tim Backup. I work in the industrial automation sector, factory automation, robots, moving things around. And I'm here because of Sam. My previous company, we supported him with components, and I'm still trying to figure out with my new company how we'll continue to support Sam and to meet everyone else here.
Oh, we matter too. Yay. Yes.
And I'm Kyle Martin, the grid energy storage, and it's kind of learning how to present really is what I'm here.
Perfect. It's a great place to do it. And what about you? Raise your hand.
I'm Clarissa. I'm actually a college student in a CNA right now, and I'm here because I'm staying with my aunt. I wanted to meet new people and just kind of explore.
Cool. Lots to learn.
That's it. Yes, the coffee.
Come get a coffee in college. They go together. All right. So this is the why. This is our why we do this. You get to be open and transparent, get feedback to improve your startups, and build meaningful connections. So all of the reasons you all are here, you're going to get to do all of that. Yay, alignment. So presenters, just a quick reminder, they are here for your feedback. The goal for everyone in the audience is positive, constructive, and then we want helpful questions for support, analysis, or growth. So try to ask them things that they may not have thought of before. And that will help to spark more creativity. So with that, we're going to turn it over to our first presenter. Everybody, round of applause for staying on. All right, I will stop sharing here and you can get that ready. So Advanced Autoponics, they sell and integrate intelligent plant systems to grow and monitor plants for buildings. With remote support and monitoring, the system allows designers, architects, and others to place more, ooh, there, it took my whole thing away.
Oh, sorry.
All right, place more plants into more buildings with less maintenance. Do more with less. Yay for the 4-hour work week. Cool, all right, it's all you.
Do I bring?
Yeah, you can bring that over here. Otherwise, I can't click through on your computer. Something about security. I'll give you this nice little podium that we have commandeered from Toastmasters.
Thank you.
All right, timer starts now.
Good morning, everyone. I'm the founder of Advanced Autoponics, where we have created the first automated plant growing and monitoring system for buildings. There we go. So if you look at the world today, 54% of the world's population lives in urban environments, with that set to increase to 66%. And if you look at the US, currently 84% of people live in urban environments. So essentially, less people or more people are around less plants. So interesting plant facts. If you're around plants, you take a look in the room today, there aren't many plants around you, unfortunately, but plants, they bring upon less stress and anxiety. They have faster recovery times in healthcare environments, and guests are willing to pay more with higher satisfaction rates. And the second most wanted element in an office is plants. So if you look at the market right now, you see that green walls, you may have seen green walls in airports or other buildings, maybe even your office building. Right now it's at 9.1 billion, set to increase to 19.4 billion by 2030, with green roofs, something similar, sitting at 1.3 billion, set to increase to 3.2 billion by 2026. So you see that the market is seeing the reaction to include more plants in buildings. But there are issues with these systems. There's a lot of bugs. So with soil, there's a lot of bugs. There's uneven watering. There's overgrowth. There's clogged water lines. And a big thing a lot of big companies are asking for is automation, which there is also a lack. So that's why Advanced Autoponics created Gemini, the first automated plant growing and monitoring system for buildings. So when we created Gemini, we took a factory mentality. That means that more downtime equals lost revenue, but with our system and us being a startup, we don't want to be here, there with all these issues. So we created our system to kind of take care of itself, even if issues arise, so that we can keep costs down. And when we created our system, we looked at hydroponics. So hydroponics, if you're familiar with that, it takes 20% less floor space, 10x less water, and it's easier to automate because it's just water flowing. So our hardware tech, since we wanted to go in any building, we created a modular design so it can go in any layout. It always provides the optimal plant conditions. And with hydroponics, you have less diseases and bug prevention built in. And the biggest thing is low maintenance. And if you look at our software suite, the software combined with the hardware, it makes it even easier. We can dial in and get remote support. So we can, if you have a question, we can help you. You can just pick a plant. So if you're growing a monstera or an elephant ear, you can just pick the plant and it grows. You can check out your water usage, energy usage, provide you with over-the-air updates, growth rate control, so plants don't get too big in an area. We can actually dial things back so it grows a little slower or stops growing entirely. And alarm notification. So if something outside of the automation can't fix itself, we notify you, hey, we have this issue, and we tell you what to do so you don't have to be a plant expert. So here, is an idea of what it looks like if so on the left side here, you have the Denver airport. This is the new area. And on the right side is what it would look like if they had called us and put our system on. So, maybe there's still time. So path to commercialization. So in 2017, we started the LLC, and then in 2018, we started growing with plants, and our focus is large plants. So you can grow monsteras, those elephant ears, bigger plants. And in 2020, we found that we had something unique and our design was unique and we created our own hydroponic system. So we went for the provisional patent. And in 2021, we went for the non-provisional patent. These are the perks of working from home for your day job. And then 2022, we started talking to, people in the industry and getting feedback and seeing what they thought about our product. And in May, we had our first customer trial that lasted 2 months. And then we hope to either get funding later this year or early next year and begin sales. So our target market is, we went first to plant providers. So these are people who are providing green walls and things like that. They have the first 3 in their pocket already. They've been around for 30 years or more. So developers and architects and even interior designers, they go to these guys and they say, hey, we have this building, we want to put this in this building, we want to do this. So we went to them first and they kind of have, that market, that knowledge, the Google reviews and everything like that. So they kind of can expand out to these people. So that's our first target. So they carry our product, they resell it. And then afterwards, we look at going directly to developers, architects, and interior designers ourselves. So we have 3 revenue streams. We sell the system into the building, then we have a maintenance service, and then we have software as a service. So maintenance would be like, hey, we need a tune on our pH or this, so we come in and we calibrate their sensors 1 to 2 times a year. And then the software as a service is that we can provide the remote maintenance and remote updates. So if you look at the competitive service model, this is how much it costs in dollars for depending on how many plants that you have in a building. And the higher amount is if plants are in the harder to reach areas. So we're looking at that market of 10 plants or more. And our monthly cost is only $250 a month for remote monitoring and support. So we come in there, we're charging less. So, with our market, the idea here is that we want to do 100K in sales per quarter, with 4 sales per quarter, equaling 400K. Yeah, equating to 1.6 million a year. And then we have our team, including my brother and a few others, that, we have the business development, operations, people that know, tech, and then you have me with an industrial automation background for 10 years. So thank you.
Who does the Photoshop for the Denver airport mock-ups?
Upwork.
Now we know. Work smarter, right?
Yeah.
I like it.
Upwork's the way to go.
That's very fun. I'd like to put plants in a lot of buildings just for funsies. Very cool. All right. What feedback do we have?
So I'm like 90% of the way there, but I'm pretty visual. So I think if some of those graph or numbers you had at the end, if you put it into a graph and just like bring them at home, for me, that would be really helpful. Like on the monthly cost and like, ours is just staying the same the whole time.
Gotcha.
That would like really trigger it for me. And then the revenue slide, you like trip up over that one.
Yeah.
So just a different way to put it, just so you can just go through it, it's easy.
Stop blaming me for that. I intimidated when I stand up.
Yeah, when she started, that's what happened last time. She started standing up and then I'm like,
You just
So
presented
recording's
at
not
a pitch
there to be
competition. You presented at a pitch competition last week and also ran up against 6 minutes, so.
yeah, right at the
back
same
there.
slide.
There you go,
So
man.
maybe I have
I'm
to,
scary. Yeah.
Yo, dude, I totally I got the picture. It's fantastic, super informative, and I love it. I think all you kind of need is what you're doing is organic, right? You're like helping plants grow. I think if you just put some more plants in the slideshow, man, people will get a better feeling.
okay.
It's like you're saying, you put the plants in the space, people
Yeah.
feel good. Put the plants in the slides, man. I guarantee you will be like, yeah, this, that.
Okay.
I got one.
Yeah.
So I just jump in and
Typically we'll go find it, but we're small
Yeah.
enough to.
I got like 3 things for you that went across my mind. Are you trying to raise money, actually?
Yeah,
If you need to read this book, Pitch Anything, you need to buy Oren Clapp's course, Pitch Mastery. That's gonna solve 90% of everything in your presentation. Like, go do that tonight. What's that?
He said it's just a
I
joke.
don't think that's fair. I didn't hear
Say
you.
it one more time.
Pitch Mastery and Pitch Anything by Oren Clapp.
And one of the biggest things he's going to teach you in that course is the use of stories you had done. Something that Warren's not going to teach you. You want to go read this book called Made to Stick. Because what you're going to do when you implement the principles in that book is your pitch is going to keep cycling through people's mind over and over if you make those stories stick.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a key piece if you're really trying to make money. Because then the investor's going to go, oh, that story, I can't get it off my head. They're going to be thinking about you. They're going to be thinking about funding. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Also, I would start selling now. Like you have all these. Have you sold anything? Do you have any?
No, we did the trial in May.
Yeah.
So we're going around.
You have a whole host of issues that you're only going to solve by getting in front of buyers.
Yeah.
The way you iterate your model is finding out what your buyers will pay for. We don't know that yet.
Right.
You're going to have a much easier time getting funding if you have proof of concepts.
Right,
You got a product, you don't have proof of sales.
Yeah.
Right? So this is my big three for you.
Cool, I like it. Anything else?
Well, I love the whole concept because I'm not a plan person, so this would be perfect for me. If it could just be automated, the only thing that I would say is if you already have, like a sample, then maybe bring that in and utilize that as well, so that you have something that's visual so people can see, and maybe you can use that as a demonstration as well.
Okay.
100%. Yeah.
Who else?
On the note of having like a story in your deck, I think there is a lot of research about, just how much plants add to states as it relates to like, even like corporate retention and morale. And so I think if you have some more sort of numbers that cater to a story, depending on like what you're trying to go for, like whether that's, the healthcare industry, like you could have like different slides that you interchange depending on who you're presenting to, that really tell like the story of how it's going to make a difference in their particular space for like that demographic. I think that'd be helpful. And I also agree that more renderings and visuals would be great, just to actually have visualization on like what it might look like in this space and like different amounts, right? Because like the airport is obviously like huge, but I think having some different scales to just kind of show like the range of your product would be helpful.
Cool. Yeah, also before everybody keeps feeding back, is there a specific type of feedback you're looking for? Like, I'm talking to an investor next week, or did you understand it? What were you hoping to convey with the pitch?
Yeah, so the big thing was, did people understand it? But, kind of getting that from the crowd right now, that was a big one. So, and yeah, always looking for that investment route because, like you're saying, we did talk to some people in the market and the price point's a little high. So we're trying to get.
I feel like it's low, personally.
Well, the monthly cost is low, so that's how we, but the initial cost is a little higher. So we're trying to find ways, because it's all, built in-house, AKA garage.
Garage.
Yeah.
I like it.
So, we're trying to bring the costs down, but some of that plays into economies of scale that we have to sell some to bring down
I feel like you could add some more points to it, sorry.
No, that's okay. We're just gonna go back here first.
Okay, great. I was curious if you could share a little bit more about the 2-month trial. And I also wanted to share that when you said it was only 2 months, I instantly thought, which is like human, brain, that something went wrong and that's why it stopped after 2 months. So maybe if you want to share a little more about how the trial went, like what you learned, and maybe that's something you could show pictures of too. If you have pictures.
Yeah, I don't have pictures on my computer, but so that trial was with a firm in San Diego and it went well. It was just that the price point for them was a little high because they're a little smaller. And one of the things too is that since we provide, lower maintenance, so the big problem, I didn't really say this a lot, but the big problem in the industry is that these green walls and all these plants, they're high in maintenance. So people have to come in constantly, water them. They sometimes even rip them out because it just gets too much to deal with. So essentially with this guy, since we lower the maintenance, we kind of take away from the revenue model because these guys are resellers. So they sell these systems for only a slight more than they get it for, but how they make more and more money on the back end is by going in there and maintaining it. But we kind of disrupt that revenue model because we kind of decrease the amount of maintenance exponentially. So we kind of take away from their revenue. So they weren't quite interested because of that and certain factors. But if you look at like nationwide people, they go and find third party contractors to go in and fix their systems and keep them up to date. So they don't have any, they actually prefer to have lower maintenance because then they don't have to set up these contracts with smaller companies that are like local to everywhere.
I mean, just like adding more images, you know, to the slide deck, like I feel like you could literally sprinkle in like dumb puns so easily.
Yeah.
In your presentation, which was very dull to me.
Informative though.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying uninformative, I'm just saying not interesting. Like it was not engaging from that standpoint.
And just a thought for some of those questions or facts you said early on, like, you know, that people are depressed and the office is lower. You could even turn those into questions for the audience. Like, how many of you have sat in that cube where you're staring at gray walls all day and you could almost like turn it to audience interaction, depending on who you're talking to or investor. Even investors, like, do you remember those days in the cubes before you got to your pretty office?
Yeah, before you got to the corner office with the windows.
So just,
yeah.
You're not growing food, just decorative plants, right?
Correct.
Watermelons.
Correct.
Yeah, that's a good question. So like,
you could grow a salad bar for that.
so like you would sell like interior designers, say.
Right,
Big time
correct.
Interior designers or something like that.
Yeah, correct.
Cool.
We were looking at, sorry, the marijuana market at first, but it's that when we were talking to different growers, they're like, I use live soil, I water at 2:30. This guy's like, I water at 4:30.
Yeah.
And then
I was talking to a guy who was like trying to do some sort of co-working space, but it's like a garden where people just walk up and pick the food.
Yeah.
Off it. You think you'd ever do that? Or
Well,
bypass?
so we do, like, we haven't totally closed out the growing sector of it because our system, you can grow large plants, you can grow tomatoes and things like that. So we haven't, if you go to our website, we do have a for growers section. And then what we do is we look at the data from our website and we see where people are going. So like if people are going more for the interior, you know, we collect data on that, the numbers monthly. And then if people are going to the,
Where's it coming from?
they come,
We're just, I'm gonna let you guys catch up offline, so
Sorry.
we get a little
Yeah.
bit more feedback, because we get super deep in. Yeah.
Have you thought about offering an option where maybe they pay more upfront and less subscription, or maybe more just they pay for the supplies? Because like when I buy something, I'd rather just make the investment upfront and not have this monthly recurring cost as high. And it would be an easier sell for me if I could do it that way.
yeah, so that's the 250. The idea behind the 250 is it's lower than everybody else's. So that subscription is lower, but the initial cost is still higher.
What's the average cost? What do you think you'll?
So like $1,000, you know, is like if you have a decent workspace with a lot of plants, $1,000, you know, 500 to 1,000. That's why we're doing the 250. So we come in low than everybody else, and that's because we don't have to do as much.
Does your machine do it for you? And right.
Did I miss this, or do you have a summary slide in your deck?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so I recommend having a summary slide at the very end, because invariably you're gonna have a pitch where some dude shows up with like 5 minutes left, his head's on his phone, he never looks up, and he's not gonna have any patience. So if you just give him like a 30-second elevator pitch, everybody else already knows the deal, and just have some visuals. I think it'd be super helpful.
Cool, yeah. Last piece of feedback I had was so somebody said, put more plants in your slides, which could be fun. I think that you could communicate that people like plants with a simple color slide. If you start out with a black slide and white text, be like, is this entertaining? Are you entertained? Do you want to read all this text? And then you skip to the next one where it literally is just like covered in plants, and you see like some young woman in a white flowy dress, and you're like, more funner. This is what you want your entryway to look like. Or get some like the old hospital waiting rooms or something like that, and just be like, where do you want to be?
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Yeah, it's always good to get feedback like that, because sometimes, you know, when I started off, like when I pitched the other time, I was like throwing in jokes, and I don't know, like, do people want the serious, or are people okay with the funny, you know? So it's
I
always.
think you gotta be you, man.
Yeah.
If you're a funny dude, be funny, because people will feel that coming through, and if you're trying to be firm and insincere, they're gonna assume that your company is the same. So what last question here is, what as a community do do for you? What are you looking for from all your peers here? How can we help you further after this wonderful feedback session?
I think I got it, I don't know, I think I got a lot of good input, and that's what, I'm kind of looking for, because a lot of times I'm talking to myself and pitching to myself, so it's always good to do it from.
They listen.
And they'll close the computer on you.
Yeah, they do that too, or sit on it. It's hot. Very cool. There you go, yep.
What's that?
Talk to us on Slack.
Yeah, I'm gonna join. You'll see me in there in about 2 minutes.
Very cool, yeah, maybe in like 20 minutes
Yeah, in
after
20
she gives
minutes,
her
yeah.
presentation. Cool, all right, well, round of applause. All right, you wanna come on up?
Yeah, let's do it.
Perfect. All right, our next presenter, if I can get my computer to work, is Secret Dance Addiction. Secret Dance Addiction is where music and mindfulness go to party, both a dance party and online community that focuses on health, dance music, and mindfulness. No intoxicants needed. What about toxic people?
No, we don't see much of that either, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. You could share your screen on
Yeah,
here.
I'll do it. You guys let me know.
All the tech. Ready?
Oh, been ready, born ready.
Please tell me you guys are gonna dance.
You probably want to see us DJ more than you want to see us dance.
Both is fine, but we'll do our best. Hey.
Yo, how you guys doing today?
I'm Amber,
I'm Mike.
and we're the co-founders of Secret Dance Addiction and Sundown Music Festival.
We're about to get really lit right now.
Yeah.
Let's go. So, Mike and Amber, we go by Double Crush for DJ duo. We are health conscious, sober, happy DJs. And this slide is about like our introduction, but it's also kind of a problem slide because you may be thinking, what is a sober DJ? What is that? What is healthy nightlife? It's not necessarily something we hear about too much. And we ran into that as healthy, happy business owners and entrepreneurs. The nightlife industry is, we all know what it is. So we were looking for more options, and we were looking for healthier, happier parties. Basically, our mission is to throw like the latest dance party. And as we all know, pouring more alcohol or intoxicants on the party does not equate to more litness. It actually has a pretty steep drop off. So we started throwing sober parties, and everything just got way more fun, way more lit, way better connections, better energy. Funny enough, if you like empower people to take care of themselves and treat your customers well, they come back and they feel good about you. They feel good about themselves. Let's continue. Let's talk about healthy nightlife.
Well, about 2 years ago, we actually started off when RMMFI, we did a boot camp, so shout out for that during COVID. We got our launch on Zoom, and since then, together with thousands of our guests, we have witnessed the rise of healthy nightlife. This is an actual shot from Sundown Music Festival last year, one of my favorite photos. I love it.
Yeah, so we can talk about Secret Dance Addiction first. SDA is where music and mindfulness go to party. We have a format that's really fun. It's all about connecting to yourself, connecting to the people around you, because when we go to events and parties, we aren't going to just drink. We aren't going just for the music. We're going because we're reaching out to connect with our community. We're reaching out, we want to dance. This is the primal thing we've been doing since before alcohol and drugs. This is something we've been doing around campfires. And so we're bringing it back to that. And the way we do that is we do a quick meditation. We all turn down to 0. Everybody kind of has like a mocktail hour, and then we're all in, we turn down to 0, do a meditation, we feel ourselves, we feel what 0 feels like, and then we turn up together, and it's lit. This little format is just like, you just feel that dynamic of like actually hitting 0 and then actually hitting 100. It's what brings us together. So we somehow found this through the DJing and the healthy nightlife, but we do monthly parties with that format. Those are our disco go-go dancers and our LED dance floor. We are doing this again on the 27th, and then it's going to be sundown after that. So, oh yeah.
We call these healthy nightlife parties party positive.
Yes.
And a little bit more about it, we activate the community with sober bar. We're selling drinks. We're turning the industry on its head because yes, you can make income from selling drinks. They just don't have to be alcoholic. Our guests feel better when they leave than when they arrive. And we always throw down a super lit dance party. This is not a fitness event. This is a club experience.
Yeah. So yeah, SCA had some great positive media last year. We've really been turning some heads, which is cool. We are like sober raves, you know, party positive. So people are taking note and they're partying and it feels good. So yeah, EDM.com, 5280, 303 Magazine. Yeah, I can't announce anything right now about that. We have some really cool things happening, so we're excited.
Last year, we saw about 4,000 attendees. We did 12 dance parties. We hosted pretty much the world's first ever detox music festival, which was super fun. We work with nonprofits, and we're sponsored quite often by alcohol-free beverage companies. Our goal, there's a reason it's called Sundown Colorado, Secret Dance Addiction Denver, is because we would like to expand around the world.
Nation and then the world.
Yes, not
But
necessarily.
we do have plans for world domination of sober, happy, healthy people, yes.
Because it's really about having the option, right?
That's really the goal, yeah. We just want people to have an option for just tonight. I feel like going out, I don't feel like being bombarded with drunk things, and boom, we have an option now.
We keep it positive and party positive.
Right.
Sundown Music Festival is where anyone who's sober curious, in recovery, or that just wants a healthier option for the night can go and have a super lit music festival experience, just like you would anywhere else, without intoxicants.
Yeah, so magic happens at sundown. Again, it's music plus mindfulness equals magic. It's a simple formula, and somehow it works. So that's what sundown is also all about. Sundown is like a really massive SDA party. It's like basically a fully sober music festival. And I think 5280 said it that sundown's excellent in what you don't notice. Like it's like going gluten-free and sugar-free and then being like, wow, I feel amazing. It's in all the things that are left are excellent. And the only way to experience it is to go, in my opinion. So I don't want to go too far into that. We do have one coming up on the 24th of this next month. And yeah, we have like a VIF bar, like a VIF lounge. So it's a very important friend. Again, we're like remixing the industry, right? So we have some kind of new fun things.
Last year, we actually sold out the VIP or VIF area at sundown.
We did, yes. We had Autograph perform, like a DJ duo. We have some cool headliners coming this year too. And yeah, again, just partying positive.
All right, this is all photos from last year. It was so fun. It was honestly one of the best nights of our lives. And we're having it this year at Tivoli, at our area campus. We had a lot of great media support because at the end of the day, what we're doing is we're helping people choose health, wellness, connection, and a really lit experience. And it's also acknowledging mental health and recovery and addiction. And that's really important because these are things that we're not talking about. We're bringing it to the surface by keeping the energy super high. And that's one of the reasons we're giving back to Colorado artists in recovery for Sundown this year as well.
That's right.
So I know we're a little close on time. Last year, we just want to share that we really want our guests to feel better leaving than when they arrived. So we're really excited. We had about 1,000 attendees last year. We're looking to double that this year. And our ask for the community is partnerships. This could be with the recovery center. This could be with sponsors. We have really big dreams for the coming years. So we are looking for investors. Our goal is to bring someone like Moby and then book a stadium. That's where we're at with this.
Yes.
That's our trajectory.
And on partnerships too, everybody, fitness, health, conscious, artists in recovery, mental health. We kind of vibe with lots of that like self-empowerment movement. This is we're a drop in the bucket, to be honest. There's a huge wave of health and wellness hitting America and mental health stuff. We just fit nicely right in there. So.
Thank you for letting us share. We hope that you'll join the party. We've got Literati coming up at Boyd Studios next month, actually this month, on the 27th. So
Yeah.
see you there.
All right. Okay, well, thanks. That sounds like a lot of fun. Who else wants to go to a rave right freaking now? Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, we'll start here. College students.
Yeah.
So I love your passion, I love your positivity, but I did feel like it did get a little repetitive. I love that you're hammering your points, but it kind of got to, you're beating a dead horse at that point.
Okay.
But, so maybe trying some new terms, like I understand that being the sober, the positivity, all of it, yes. But I just constantly heard that throughout the entire presentation. I'm like, okay, I just heard this, I heard this again. But I love the hammering, but just a little less. And then maybe when you went into the mental health side, like I know a lot of people my age and older, they're finally starting to talk about it. So just talk about that a little more. Talk about the issue with the current nightlife and like peer pressure and all of that, because that's the issue. And then last thing is when you sprinkle in the events, maybe just at the end, have it all those on your slide, because I'm not thinking about those during it. I'm like, okay, at the end, I'm like, oh, I want to go to one of these things.
Okay.
So I'm forgetting what those are. So just add it at the end.
That's really great feedback. Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah.
Similar to like just the repetitious, like I counted lit like 7 times.
That's on brand.
Personally, like I'm not opposed to the word itself, but from a pure writing standpoint, it's just good writers can find alternative words to use. So keep it in there once or twice, but perhaps find other descriptors. I'm sober too, so I would love to join.
Hey, let's go.
Very cool.
Thank
All
you.
right. Yeah, Lindsay.
Thinking about this, I don't know that I'm necessarily your target market. I tend to be a little bit more quiet than maybe this, but also sober. And so for me, I'm often like, what I'd like is a little bit more, like as an introduction, like more of an experience, right? You're providing an experience. What can happen in your presentation to provide what a sense or a feeling feels like when, like, I super relate with feeling better after having left than arrived. Like that is something, like that to me is like right on. I don't like EDM necessarily isn't necessarily my jam, but you talk about like leaving better, right? I think about or leaving feeling better, and I think about the like other alternatives in this particular space, like what do we call it, the ethereal dancing, like ecstatic dancing, and the opportunities in Denver for that, which are really small. I see this as like a different wavelength, but I didn't, like, my body didn't quite grok it, which is such a like weird thing to say, but it's totally true. It's like, what is that experience that you want us to have?
More about like what it's like at attending an event?
Yeah, we should go.
Yeah, and I think for me, and to be more descriptive, for me, there's this is like, as somebody mentioned, like this is one thing, right? Like we've all been in the place where we're being sweat on by somebody who's intoxicated and we can smell it from a mile away. Like, what's that experience? Kind of like the plant thing that we were talking about earlier, not plant thing, please excuse me, person doing that, but the contrast of this is one thing, and then here's what our, like, what we're offering is like, oh, dude, I might try that out, even if I'm not.
I think churches nailed that.
Yes.
Like there are certain churches, it feels like you're going to an absolute like rave with the level of music that they've got going on, and people like it. Like when you hear someone who's like, I go to church for the music, you're like, that's basically what you guys are providing.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of issues with churches we shan't go into, but it's just a different way of presenting it.
I know this is probably, I don't know if you guys have ever thought of this, but going to like healthcare systems for sponsorship, because I worked in healthcare for 17 years, and around New Year's, I don't know, that big rave that they have at the convention center. So I've blocked that word out of my mind because it's horrible. The news doesn't even tell you how many people died from that event. We have to work overtime. All the hospitals go on divert in this whole area. It's absolutely horrible. So knowing like the nights of decadence or these Halloween parties are like horrible for healthcare systems, maybe that could be a sponsorship. Also, I used to own 5280 Entertainment, and I used to do a lot of events. And one of the places that, which you guys should go to because they have no one right now, but DU wants non-alcoholic events for their youth at night. I had that contract for 2 years. I had a very hard time getting them to attend because there was no alcohol, yet you have an ambulance and suicides at DU like weekly, so maybe going to them as well because it was lit, your pictures, and that would be very attractive to college youth and also make the college happy too.
That's amazing. Yeah, we actually work with CU Boulder. Like we did almost $50,000 in parties with them last year.
Yeah.
And then we're flying to Vermont to do Champlain College.
Champlain.
So colleges are a big deal for us. Because like you said, right, what if you party without pressure? That's like such a beautiful thing.
It's like the core, we're really trying to get in there, but also to your point, cops love us.
The healthcare system, do you know how horrible it was tonight fighting with these alcoholic people, like, call my mom, and they just drank like, I don't know what, and then you have them rolling in dead, and then the news never says anything, but it's supposed to be this random, amazing, protected event, and it's so not.
Yeah, it's for one reason.
And they're charging them $10 for a water, so they're not even hydrating enough. So you guys are like amazing. I'm telling you, healthcare sponsorship.
Thank you. Yeah, we definitely been talking about trying to find a way into healthcare and presenting this to them, but it seems a pretty big industry. We'll see, but thank you.
Yeah, go over here first.
I got a couple ideas for you. So the first would be promotional. You guys, I think, are going and promoting directly to the audience, and maybe you're not, I don't know, but from your presentation, it sounds like you're promoting to attendees and then the talent. I think a very smart thing to do would be to get talent on board. They already have a built-in audience. There's a portion of fans, myself included, that don't go to EDM shows anymore because what was your story about being split on? So I saw, this just really happened to me. I'm a huge dubstep fan. I know it's a Zomboy show, my favorite guy. And dude, like, I used to fall asleep to dubstep, so and there was a moment at Beta, rest in peace. When dude, I was literally like, I was surrounded by 4 dudes drenched in sweat, and I was covered in 4, it was one of the most gross moments of my life. And genuinely, it ruined it for me. I don't go to shows anymore because there's too much of that. And then there was some guy like in a mosh pit, it was just weird. You know, it's because of all the drugs. So my point though, is that there is a percentage of music fans that don't want to get wasted shows. Now I'm sober, not by choice, just it fucking hurts now. But there's a percentage of people that aren't willing. So the pitch to the artist is, hey man, your audience that's attending, these are the drug users. But by the way, for every one of those, there's probably, I don't know, 50% that aren't drug users. So if you lead with the artist, then you have the audience built in. So now you don't have to promote and spend ads. You can just email, I think Schism and Excision are both sober, okay? So you go straight to Excision, you go straight to Schism, you say, hey man, I know you live that sober life in spite of everything you're surrounded by. We want to support your mission. Come to a show in Denver. We know you love Denver. They asked you to turn it down in Red Rocks. We're not going to get too loud, okay? But we're going to go sober. So you start with the artist and the audience follows. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. Yeah. The main problem we have with that, we want to do that. It's hard to find them because being sober is kind of a personal thing.
Yeah.
So some artists are and they just don't say. We've struggled a little bit finding sober, healthy, happy acts, and not necessarily struggled finding them. It's just been a challenge to get that why, to find that in the.
Well, they don't have to be sober, dude. They could be drug addicts, but they're in it, most of them out of passion for the music, but also if you tell them they got ticket sales or giving up, they're gonna make time for the show. Like the buy-in for them is, here are the ticket sales. They don't have to be sober, but they can support the sober mission.
Yeah.
Do you guys, as of now, feature strictly sober artists?
No, although we do try to work with people that are in that brand. We have like a brand checklist, and if they're like Moby, it's like the pinnacle of the brand, like vegan, sober, like totally outspoken on it too. And so we look for those sorts of artists that can champion this with the brand.
And I think you're gonna have a better chance with evangelists. Like people that like go to one of these and actually have a good time. Like if this changes them from being a drug addict, I think you're gonna have better luck. Yeah, Philip.
I feel like if you touched on, like how much more some of these social skills are gonna get leveled up by going to this. You get a lot of people who aren't settling down to go, it's like, it takes a lot of confidence to go up and just look somebody dead in the face, stand there and talk, like, that's why people go out and drink, they want liquid courage, they wanna meet people, they're just nervous. But if you level up their social skills, maybe you'll get more and more. I feel like you touch on that.
It creates a more real conversation and connection, you know, when there is nothing else involved. It's like our energies are even, we can communicate as humans. Wow, imagine that.
Novel idea.
Do you guys use other decks for investors, sponsors, or potential partners, or is this
Yes,
one?
we do have.
We do. This is a modified version of our partnership deck, which is what we send to sponsors.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, so my feedback was just that I thought it was really effective in terms of like, hey, here's an option or an alternative to the traditional race for somebody who might want to attend something like this. But, you know, if I were an investor, potential partner, or potential sponsor, I'm like, what are the financials, you know, like, if you have tiered sponsorship packages like bronze, silver, gold.
We do. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You know, we definitely have those. This, again, yeah, this is like a modified sponsorship deck, so we were like, roll with it. Just like
6 minutes, you gotta smash it in there.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so,
Sounds good.
But yeah, we definitely were all prepared with that stuff.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I really feel like it's almost less of an option or alternative. I would say like go all in and say it's like the start of, you know, a movement, and you guys are on the front end of this, and people are, you know, realizing that this is the better way to go. And I would even support that with, you know, statistics about, you know, like Montauk companies, because I feel like that industry is booming. And I think showing the momentum and, you know, these sort of adjacent categories to you guys could be something beneficial, because there is a huge demand in like franchises, you know, opening up sober bars. And so I think establishing and showing that, you know, the interest is there from your audience could be really great in supporting it, because I feel like the emotional side is there, and I like definitely connected, and yours is energy is great. But I think just having some of the statistics to support could also be really beneficial. That's what you're doing.
Love it. Thank you.
Okay, so a couple of things. One, love the presentation. Second, as far as, so are you promoting just non-alcoholic or nobody on drugs at all? And how are you controlling that? Because I didn't know, I didn't just do 10 Oxycontins and then come in here and now I'm in your party and with all these sober
Right. So
with all these sober people, and then you don't know that, or I didn't just drink in the car a whole gallon and then I'm coming in. So obviously, I'm not screaming at people.
we protect it with our why. We protect it with our branding, right? Our brand is fire. This consciousness is fire.
Are you sure you didn't mean to say lit?
It's, but it's like truly like the purity of like what we're doing. So someone lit up a joint in the middle of sundown last year, and there's a puffing, right? And we heard stories in the dance floor. Everybody just me mugging, you know. And at that point, they put it away. And it's community, it's communal, right? Like we don't have to do that policing, although it is illegal, right? Technically to be out smoking or to like bring alcohol in or to do any other drugs is technically illegal. We have a crowd there that understands that why, they're bought into that, and they hold each other to a standard that just, we shouldn't have to do too much.
Honestly, it hasn't been an issue, but we do have security at our events.
Yes.
Like at sundown, we'll have the Tivoli police force. They're checking bags.
So
Yeah.
they can see if something's a little out of control.
Yeah.
Okay, and then last thing, real quick, as far as the experience goes, so maybe, I'm a visual person, that's why I keep talking about this. Maybe bring in some of your non-alcoholic drinks, maybe start out your pitch with, let's bring it down to 0, and let's just connect. And then show them the whole experience, and then maybe do a little small turn up, get a little lit, and then go to your presentation to provide that experience, and so I can really see what it's like. You get excited about it.
That's great.
I love that.
Cool. All right, we got time for one more question. Yeah.
Okay.
You got
This is
it.
kind of personal, but I kind of bugged with the lit part too. Like at first I was like, okay, kind of saying that on, then you kept going, and I was like, it's kind of sick, right? Just my personal opinion. And then I don't know if there's like a next morning type of thing, but that's the biggest thing for me is I hate the next day when I just can't do shit. So if you guys like had a brunch or a workout or like something in addition to the night to kind of show a different side of the benefits.
That's a great
Oh, I
idea.
like that. After party the next day?
Yeah.
Like early in the morning, like 7 a.m., like coffee or something, because everyone's sober. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I was gonna say, I know you guys are really clear about wanting partnerships and appreciate you guys including the ask on that if there are two types of people, maybe each of you pick one that you'd love to be introduced to in this community. I mean, I know you got your pinnacle up there, but like just that somebody might know in Denver, who would you like to know or be introduced to this week?
Sweet question. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, like, what we're looking for are sober influencers. We're looking for people that are super empowering in the health space.
Okay.
Yeah, if you guys know anybody that's like an outspoken self-empowerment and maybe mental health person that's outspoken there.
Right
Like
now
I said,
you're branching out.
we're-
Sober influencers.
Sober influencer, yeah.
Got it. Okay, cool. How about you?
Social media influencer or just people that are actually influential?
Well, the latter.
More than suggestions, yeah.
Oh, what about you?
I would say like any minority or like at-risk groups that you think would benefit from something like this. I want to share that we don't always like pound EDM. The next party is going to be like funk and disco.
Yeah.
So we don't go like super hard. Like anyone can attend, including each one of you.
Very cool. All right, round of applause. All right, I'll let you out and in. We'll do the dance. Right? Dance. Okay. Single patients. There we go. Rebecca? All right. So we're gonna do a real quick, like 2-minute versions. Try to keep it to like 20 seconds a piece. Things that are going on in the community, events, asks, ideas, anything that you have that you're really excited about. Nothing. Last week, with our first week back at 1 Million Cups, there were like 400 events. Anything else? Do you know of anything that's happening this weekend?
I have to ask.
Yeah.
It's not an event. So I'm getting into the speaking business, speaking and consulting, and I've done a lot of speaking before, but not as an independent, do it for myself guy. And so I'm looking for places, stages, and audiences to talk with. And I don't have a network yet, but if you guys know some events where I can plug into, get up and share some of my insight as a marketing consultant, someone who helps businesses make money, I'd be indebted, and we'd find some reciprocity also.
I've got a little black book. Let's spend
Okay.
time to talk.
Yeah.
It's a tiny black book, but it's black nonetheless. Anybody else? Asks, any other events that are going on this week? It's the second week of the month, so everybody dies down to recover from what they did to themselves the first week of the month. I have an ask. I am starting the Founders Boost cohort in Denver. It's a pre-accelerator for Techstars. So if you or someone you know is looking to do a raise within the next year, inviting people to participate in that. We are also looking for speakers and other people to support the program because we're going to make it completely free. So we need to get some scholarships and partnerships for people to help us make sure that it stays free and we don't take any equity from the participants. So if you know anyone who's interested in either helping out startups, and to your point, need mentors and things like that, but also participating. If you want to work on your pitch, it's a great opportunity. So all of this is going to be posted in the Colorado Startup Slack community. So it is a great place to join. If you have something happening in the community, by all means, post it. This is our whole marketing strategy. We're going to lay it out for you. Invite your friends. Okay? Lastly, you are awesome. If you are interested in helping us put this on or sponsoring us in any way, just let us know. This doesn't happen without the help and time of volunteers. Anyone know why the man fell down the well?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Anybody else? Because he couldn't see that one. Oh, no, that was bad. Real bad. Okay, we will see you next meeting, August 17th. Keep an eye out on the Slack community because we will post if we're doing headshots. That was supposed to be today, but something held them up. So just keep an eye there. We do headshots every once in a while. It's just a way for you guys to refresh your profiles. Other than that, we'll still be here for like another half hour. So if you want to grab more coffee and do the things.
How do we donate towards the coffee?
Yeah,
Is
just
there like
come,
a,
come chat with me. We've got a fun QR code.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, there's a QR code. You send it. Nick actually pays for it all. So
Okay.
the coffee gets donated, but all of the supplies, the sugar, the creamer, the oat milk, all of those things, we just pay for out of pocket as the sponsorship team.
All right.
So anything like that, if anybody's feeling generous, like, hey, I could give $5. That'll buy a soap book for a couple weeks. Sound good? Yeah.
Because I heard you the other night, and I looked it up, I have no idea. So, we're gonna raise, but likely not venture this year. So would that be I guess, is that a disqualifier? I guess if you know,